Afternoon, train, cold and grey. Welcome to New Year, New You. This is the Internet Twitter Challenge where you generate one new RPG character for every day in January. So it's 31 characters, and have a bit of a backstory, a bit of a shout about them. And of course, me being me, I'm doing 31 different characters in 31 different systems because we don't need 31 more Earthdawn characters floating around, 31 more OSR sword and board fighters. Although I've got a couple. And today we are looking at shit, come on, Corley Core Dannen, uh, using the Open Legend open source generic RPG. Backed it on Kickstarter. I've done a dice and bolts. Take a look at it. You can get the PDF, you can get hard copy books. It's a nice, for a generic game, it's a very slim book. It's a well put together book. There were a few issues when it comes to shipping it, originally from the Kickstarter, but they've been sorted out. Corley Dannen was the main protagonist of a story that I was writing on an old electric typewriter that I had from when I got it when I was 17 or 18, and I was just writing this story, and then I transferred it over to a Word document, and I've lost it. I've lost my print copy. I've lost the files, which is a shame. But the main characters from it, Corley, Kaizan Dejan, and Tajinar the Grey, I kind of know them quite well. Corley Dannen is an arcane prodigy. He is relatively young. In the story, he'd just run away from magical university, climbed over the wall, and went off to see the great world outside, even though he's chronically unprepared for it. He knows magic. It's instinctive. You know, he sponges up knowledge left, right, and center. Comes from a bit of a privileged background, so I'm not sure if he was running away from the college or running away from his parents and the expectations that they would have put on him from graduating. If you watched any of the other videos, you would have seen Cochran Gillespie. He's Corley's kind of the opposite. He comes from the moneyed background, but he was almost ashamed of it rather than rolling into it. So it's not referenced anywhere. It's not part of his character. He's kind of self-effacing. He's socially nervous. He's got a bit of bluster and braggadocio to him, but it is just bluster. One thing with him is that he knows a lot about a lot of different types of magic. The way Open Legend works is you've got your sort of fairly standard physical, social, mental attributes, but then you've got the supernatural ones. When you're generating a character, you can go as high as 5 in any of these, but for the way that I wrote him, he had more access to more types of magic. So in the books and in this game, he can use so the fiction kind of drives what you can do with his stats. So he can use air magic, shadow magic, and sort of generic wizardry. So with score of energy 3, he can make a fairly decent attack spell. Prescience 3, that's quite a good sensory boosting one. Influence 2, okay, so you can possibly do. These aren't the droids you're looking for, but you might get them unstuck on that one there. Basic alteration, basic creation, that's not enough for any of the major effects that you can conjure up in the game, but it's a start. And protection 3, in the game he wove magic wards on a couple of occasions, and then there's a couple of his spells on there. So air blast, banish magic, phantasm for illusions, chains of air, augury, quite a useful one, air bolts and shadow bolts. And then with a Bane focus on knockdown, his main attack in the story had always been like just a blast of air. So he can use energy versus toughness to either do damage and then make it easier for him to inflict knockdown on top of it, or just to do knockdown and make it a bit more of a powerful ability. And then his arcane knowledge, it would automatically pass any difficulty 16 rolls on learning based on arcane because he just knows them, or he gets an advantage 1 on any rolls which are higher. Yeah, young, likely to get himself into trouble, little bit socially inept, but very, very magically talented. That's Corley Dannen for Open Legend. I'll see you soon. Oh well.